China has slowly crept up to become the second largest economy globally, just behind the United States. This rise has led to many of its corporations, such as Tencent, Alibaba, and Huawei, to become some of the largest businesses globally. Millions of people, from online gaming and online shopping to mobile phones, use their products every single day, and soon it will be billions. But the rise of all these was largely unseen. People know they are heavily reliant on Chinese-made products, but they are unaware that the platforms they use are owned by China. For instance, in Southeast Asia, one of the largest e-commerce platforms is Lazada. Lazada is majority owned by Alibaba, which is one of China's largest corporations. In Europe, they have Volvo Cars, which is one of its most famous automotive brands. Yet that too is owned by a Chinese corporation known as Geely. Then, largely seen, is ByteDance, the company behind TikTok, which is now a worldwide phenomenon. So, how did these Chinese corporations suddenly, in just a couple of years, become some of the most celebrated and used products? Well, to understand this, we must first go back to the economic history of China. China's rise as a technological power began in earnest in the late 20th century, when economic reforms, spearheaded by Deng Xiaoping in the 1980s, opened the country to global trade and investment. These reforms were the catalyst that allowed Chinese companies to flourish in an increasingly interconnected world. By 1984, China had established special economic zones, SEZs, in cities like Shenzhen, Zhuhai, and Xiamen, which created fertile ground for technological innovation. These zones offered tax incentives, relaxed regulations, and access to foreign capital, attracting both domestic entrepreneurs and multinational corporations. Shenzhen, in particular, became a hub for electronics manufacturing and would later be known as China's Silicon Valley. Just 3 years later, in 1987, a company that would play an important role in China's technological advancement would open doors. Huawei, founded by Ren Zhengfei, would go on to become one of the world's largest telecommunications companies. Initially focused on reselling private branch exchange (PBX) systems, Huawei's growth was driven by a focus on research and development (R&D), with a particular emphasis on creating affordable and high-quality telecommunications equipment for China's rural areas. By the 1990s decade, Tencent would be the next company to open up. In 1998, Pony Ma and other co-founders in Shenzhen established Tencent. Initially, the company launched OICQ, an instant messaging platform inspired by ICQ. Tencent's development marked the beginning of China's dominance in the social media space, which would later evolve with the creation of WeChat, a super app that integrates messaging, payments, and a variety of other services. A year after Tencent was launched, Jack Ma had founded Alibaba in Hangzhou, launching what would become China's largest e-commerce platform. Alibaba's initial focus was on connecting Chinese manufacturers with overseas buyers, but it soon expanded into consumer markets with the launch of Taobao in 2003. Alibaba's growth was fueled by China's burgeoning internet economy and the rise of a new middle class eager to shop online. In the same year as Jack Ma's Alibaba, Baidu was founded by Robin Li, marking the start of China's dominance in the search engine market. Baidu became the leading search engine in China, benefiting from the government's restrictions on foreign competitors like Google. Over the years, Baidu expanded into AI research, autonomous driving, and cloud services. These four corporations eventually became the face of China's technological rise. But Baidu, Alibaba, and Tencent became the pinnacle of technological advancement after they were given the name BAT, and is now often compared to America's FANG, which is composed of Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. By the 21st century, Chinese corporations continued to thrive. albeit only in their domestic market. It was not until the 2010s that Chinese corporations would go global. One of these globalized names was founded just in 2010, ShowMe. ShowMe was founded by Lei Jun and quickly established itself as a disruptor in the global smartphone market. ShowMe had a unique strategy of offering high-quality smartphones at low prices, and it helped the company gain massive market share globally. As a matter of fact, ShowMe's global market share as of the second quarter of 2024 stood at over 14.8%, making it the third largest globally, just behind Samsung and Apple. By 2012, Didi Chuxing, often referred to as the Uber of China, would be established. It would grow rapidly and even acquire Uber's China operations in 2016. Didi now operates in several countries around the world. 2 years later, another major milestone would occur in China, Alibaba. Alibaba went public on the New York Stock Exchange, raising $25 billion in what was the largest initial public offering, IPO, in history at the time. 2 years later, ByteDance was founded by Jiang Yiming, launching the wildly successful app TikTok, known as Douyin in China, shortly thereafter. TikTok's explosive growth made ByteDance one of the most valuable tech startups in the world, with over 1 billion active users globally by 2020. Then by 2022, another pinnacle of China's growth is that it became the world's largest market for electric vehicles, EVs, with companies like BYD and NIO leading the charge. This has threatened major automotive corporations like Tesla, Toyota, and Volkswagen. This growth could have just been another economic growth story, just like how South Korea's own corporations like Samsung and LG became global phenomena, or Japan's Toyota, and Mitsubishi became some of the world's leading automotive brands. Yet, due to the issues brought by these Chinese corporations, they did not stay as just another story. They had brought fears and trouble to other countries' national security. And that's what makes this story so intriguing. It's how we as individuals know tech giants like Google, Amazon, and Facebook, yet only a few people know Chinese tech titans like Huawei, Tencent, and Alibaba. But they too wield immense global influence. It's like a form of silent domination, but instead of centuries-old playbooks, it's now about global data, technology, and communications networks. Let's first start with the most controversial industry, telecommunications. Huawei is the quintessential example of silent domination. The company started as a telecommunications equipment manufacturer in the 1980s and has since grown into one of the world's largest and most influential tech companies. Its products and services are present in over 170 countries, and it plays a central role in the global telecommunications industry. Huawei is dominant in one important industry, 5G. The company is a leader in 5G infrastructure, providing the backbone for the next generation of high-speed mobile internet in many countries. This is particularly true in developing nations, where Huawei's lower-cost alternatives have been appealing to governments looking to modernize their telecommunications networks. Despite concerns from Western governments about the potential for espionage or data breaches due to Huawei's ties to the Chinese government, the company has continued to expand its presence globally. Countries in Africa, Asia, and Latin America have increasingly relied on Huawei for building their telecommunications infrastructure, giving China a foothold in the critical communications networks of numerous nations. This creates a dependency that makes it difficult for countries to extricate themselves from Huawei's systems, especially as 5G networks become more widespread. The silent nature of Huawei's control lies in the fact that, while most consumers are unaware of the infrastructure behind their mobile and internet services, a significant portion of it is powered by Huawei's technology. This gives Huawei, and by extension, China, immense leverage over global communications, all without the average person realizing the scope of its influence. Another vital industry is cloud computing. Most people associate cloud computing with companies like Amazon AWS and Microsoft Azure. Yet Chinese tech giants Alibaba and Tencent have also become key players in this space, controlling a significant portion of the global cloud infrastructure. Alibaba's cloud computing arm, Aliyun, is now the fourth largest cloud provider globally, with a growing market share in Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. The company's cloud services support everything from e-commerce and gaming to finance and artificial intelligence. Companies across Southeast Asia, India, and Europe use Alibaba's cloud services for data storage, software applications, and AI-driven analytics. While Alibaba is primarily known for its e-commerce platform, its cloud services silently power the digital operations of thousands of businesses outside China, making it a key player in the global data economy. This data includes everything from customer information to financial records, providing Alibaba, and by extension, the Chinese government, given its laws on data sharing, access to vast amounts of global data. Similarly, Tencent Cloud has expanded its services beyond China, particularly in Southeast Asia and North America. Tencent's cloud services power applications in sectors like gaming, entertainment, and healthcare. Tencent's reach in cloud computing has grown through strategic partnerships with global companies. This silent domination in cloud computing is particularly concerning due to China's stringent cybersecurity laws, which require Chinese companies to share data with the government upon request. This means that any data stored on Alibaba or Tencent servers could potentially be accessed by the Chinese government, giving it unprecedented access to global information. Another important industry is both AI and surveillance. China's tech giants are also major players in the global surveillance industry, exporting advanced surveillance technology to governments around the world. Companies like Hikvision, Huawei, and ZTE provide facial recognition, AI-powered surveillance systems, and data analytics tools to both authoritarian and democratic regimes. These systems are often used for monitoring citizens, maintaining public order, and even suppressing dissent. Finally, everyone knows TikTok. ByteDance has become one of the most influential tech companies in the world, largely due to the viral success of TikTok. With over 1 billion active users worldwide, TikTok collects vast amounts of user data, from viewing habits to location information. This is the same way as to how Alibaba and Tencent could have their data accessed by the Chinese government. Now, their growth isn't limited to their own products and service offerings. One should know that they have been acquiring some of the largest businesses globally. Just take a look at Tencent. It is one of the most prolific investors in global tech companies. It holds stakes in major gaming companies such as Epic Games, creator of Fortnite, Riot Games, creator of League of Legends, and Supercell, creator of Clash of Clans. These investments give Tencent influence over a significant portion of the global gaming industry, even though many players are unaware that a Chinese company owns or controls their favorite games. Tencent has also invested in social media platforms like Snapchat and streaming services like Spotify, further expanding its influence in the entertainment and media industries. Through these investments, Tencent has quietly gained access to user data, intellectual property, and new technologies, reinforcing its position as a global tech leader. So, we come to the most important question. Why is this a problem? Well, the problem isn't really about these corporations, but rather because they are required by Chinese law to share data with the government. This data can then be used for state surveillance or espionage. National security is another major issue. Huawei's involvement in global 5G networks makes it easier for China to potentially spy on or disrupt foreign communications. This dependency on Chinese technology also threatens technological sovereignty, making it difficult for countries to develop independent infrastructure. But anyway, do let us know what you think. Thanks for watching.